Okay, hello and welcome everybody to our second installment of the TYCOP role model Facebook live videos that we are doing. My name is Chelsea Johnson and I am the communications manager for the Ontario First Nations Technical Services Corporation. And it's my pleasure to welcome you today. We will be joined by Amy Waboose, who is a water quality analyst for Whitefish River First Nation. But before we get started, I just want to introduce the organization that I work for. As I mentioned, I'm the communications manager for the Ontario First Nations Technical Services Corporation, or OFNTSC as we like to call it. So here at OFNTSC, we provide technical advisory services to the First Nations in Ontario. And this includes consulting to some extent, as well as providing training in our core service areas, which include emergency management preparedness, environment, engineering, fuel systems management, fire and safety, housing and infrastructure, operations and maintenance, and water and wastewater. So as you can imagine, we do a lot, but we also go above and beyond this, just providing our core services. And a large part of our mission involves supporting First Nations to meet the contemporary and future challenges associated with their paths to self-reliance and self-sufficiency. Which includes ensuring that First Nations have knowledgeable technicians in their own communities who will continue to do this work into the future. We do a number of things to encourage and promote technical careers for First Nations youth. For example, each year OFNTSC gives out the Student Achievement Awards to Indigenous youth studying for a career in a technical field. And these awards will actually be going up live on our website and on our social media channels next week. So definitely check that out. And another initiative that we have is the Technical Youth Career Outreach Project, which is how I first learned about Amy. Through the TYCOP program, we aim to inform First Nations students about the various technical careers that exist and how they can achieve success in these areas. And we do this by showcasing First Nations role models who are currently studying or working in that career. So we hope that it will inspire other youth to follow or pursue a similar path. This past year, we featured Amy as one of our role models for the water and wastewater field. So today we'll be chatting with her, finding out more about her journey to this career, some of the struggles she may have encountered, and hear her advice for First Nations youth who are considering a career in water and wastewater. And if you have any questions for Amy during our chat, please feel free to comment on the video, and we have a moderator who will inform us of any questions near the end. And now, without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Amy Waboose. Hello, Amy. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. Where are you right now?
I'm right in the water treatment plant right now, lunch hours. So I'm just here chatting with you guys, enjoying. Just wanted to let people know what's going on, and yeah.
Awesome. So so that's the water treatment plant in Whitefish River?
Whitefish River First Nation, yeah.
Awesome. And is that where you grew up?
Pardon?
Is that where you grew up?
I grew up here, yeah. Been here for 26 years. I grew up, went to school here and this and that. And yeah, so now I'm working here, full-time permanent job, water quality analyst.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. How did you come into this career? That's not something that normally I feel like a lot of youth would think of.
Actually, I wanted to be a welder in the beginning. This is how it all started. But then there was this program going on called Water First. And one of my buddies actually went and said, this would be a good career for you, a good field that you would like to do. So I kind of just put my resume in, and it fell on my lap, and went to school for it. We just did a hands-on. So it was 16 months. We did 1 week with school, and then the rest was all in the plant. So it was all hands-on. So that's how I learned. That's how I made it in. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't hands-on, because that's how I learned.
Okay, so it was something that you kind of I guess.
It kind of I just
stumbled into.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. So did you have to you did that Water First program? Was that
right.
all the training that you needed to become a water quality analyst?
Actually, throughout the Water First program, we went and did our water quality analyst. We got that ticket. Then we got our OIT ticket. Then we got our source water protection ticket, and then we got I think we got one more. I can't remember. Our entry-level training course we got. So those are all the tickets you need to begin to work in the plant. And then within that, for them to be valid, you need 1,800 hours of in time in the plant for it to be the ticket, to have it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Within that 1 week we'd go to school and then we'd be here. We'd be gaining our 1,800 hours within the year. So,
Okay, I see. So you kind of did it simultaneously, like studying and then getting your like
yeah,
experience.
right. Training
That's so
in
cool.
the plant. Training in the plant.
Oh, that's awesome. What are tickets? I've heard that used before, but to me, that's not something that's like a familiar term.
It's
Can you
almost like a
explain that?
diploma. It's like a diploma, you can say.
Okay.
You have to have it to be in the plant. You have to have your OIT at least to be in here. You're level 1.
ORT, what's that?
OIT, operator in training.
Okay. Okay, cool. And then so what does like a typical day look like for you? Like when you go into the treatment plant, what's the first thing you do to like the last thing you do?
The first thing I do is come in and I look at the trending, the chlorine trending and the flow trending when the pumps went off last and all that kind of stuff. And then we have checks. We have daily checks to make sure that the numbers are in. We're recording every number and we go out and do our sampling at the same time. So we have to get 4 samples through the distribution. So we do 1 here, 1 at the water plant, or 1 at the ESR, our water tower.
Mm-hmm.
Do 2 wherever, like the build band office, community center, youth and elder center, like just throughout the distribution in the community to see the levels within everywhere around here.
Is it kind of like a science? Like when I think of it, I think of you like looking under like a microscope and stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah, you need your chemistry for sure. You need to know how to balance equations, and you need to know how to convert, and you need to know how to do all that kind of stuff. So
wow.
it's kind of hard. It was hard for sure in the beginning, like through the paperwork and everything and the math and having to convert liters to seconds to cubic meters per day and all this kind of stuff. Like I had nothing. I had no idea what was going on until you're actually in the plant doing it. That's the difference. If somebody was going to school, I probably wouldn't have been doing it to school, but hands-on made it that much easier.
Yeah, so it's really important having that experience in the plant while you're actually learning it too. Like, does that
exactly. So if I'm sitting there at like a classroom and they're telling me liters per second and how much water is going out of this hydrant, and you're like, well, I can't really see the hydrant, so I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to learn in college, I think.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Awesome. Is this something that you feel like is this a career that is connected kind of like to your culture, like for your teachings that you've grown up with?
It's different because I understand both aspects, so the traditional and then the Western science of it. So before this job, I was working with fisheries. Then I had the source water protection plan. So I know how to protect it from the source to make it easier to filter throughout our community. You know, so you got to protect water at its source before anything else, or it's going to be harder to filter. So you need more people to understand that culture also intertwines with it in other ways, like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And when you know, like, I just love my job. I just take pride in it, to know the community has water to drink from and you don't have to think about it. That's my reward. I
think I saw in one of the comments when we posted the notice that we were going to be talking with you, somebody commented that you also did an interview with CBC for Whitefish River First Nation having the cleanest drinking water.
Right, yeah. Actually, all of our things are up there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so those are different awards that you guys won?
Those are all the trophies for the cleanest drinking water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And like, what determines that? Like, who's determining that? Or
there's this big, I think it's with WAO. I'm pretty sure it's with a WAO. So we go in and all the reserves are we're all from, all the operators bring their sample of water, and I think they do on taste, color, aesthetics, chlorine levels, and there's one more, turbidity, the turbidity in the water. So whoever's best pretty well gets it.
I actually think I know what that turbidity means. It's like the clearness of the water. Like if you can
what's floating in there. Exactly. It's
yes.
So the less turbidity, the less chances you have bacteria hiding behind those little bits.
Oh, okay. I see. So like you said, you love your job. What's your favorite part of it? Just knowing your community has clean drinking water?
It's being busy. I'm not just sitting at the desk all day. It's the clean drinking water for sure, but you're always on the go. You're always doing something different. There's always something different every day.
Are there like
routine, but then it's different?
Yeah. What's like one of the challenges? Like you said, you're always on the go. Is there like a day where you've had like a super stressful day because something went wrong? And then
sure, for sure. Like you lose pressure up the hill, and then you lose pressure up there, and then people just remember what you did wrong, and they don't remember the 99% of the time you do a great job. They only remember that 1%. Like tough part. This is for the community. If something we're also using clean water. If something messes up, then we're in big trouble.
Yeah, that definitely
Stressful
happens.
part, like you can get really big trouble, get people sick. So you have to make sure you know what you're doing.
For sure. That definitely seems like it's kind of stressful. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Does stress ever get to you from this job, or?
Well, sometimes it does, but then the majority of the time, though, you know what you're doing, right? You're always training. You're always getting a refresher. You always have the circuit riders here. You're always going in for training at different conferences, and you're always, even if there's old stuff you knew, they're just refreshers. You're always retraining in here. So you'll just know.
Right. So it's kind of like you have to just kind of think to yourself, like, I have all the training I need. I know everything I should know. And if something goes wrong, like, it's not on me, right?
Something goes wrong, you can fix it just like that too, because you know how to work the SCADA and you know how to shut the chlorine pumps off if something goes wrong and shut the high lift pumps off if something goes wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you act quickly because I don't know. I've been here for 4 years, so I kind of know what's going on now.
How many people work there, like, in the plant?
So there's 3 of us. There's me, Mark Shawanda, and Andy Reckley.
So only 3 people is all it takes to run the water treatment plant?
Yeah, well, there should be more, to be honest, because of all the stuff that we actually need to do and everything. But as of now, we all switch on call. We're always on call, one of us, week by week. But
so 24/7, one of you guys is on call in case something happens.
We get alarm calls at 3 a.m, 12 at night.
Whoa. Yeah. I didn't realize that. Honestly, I had no idea. That's kind of like an emergency service provider where they have.
Oh yeah, we were through this whole COVID-19. We were working. We were essential. You needed.
For sure, and that was actually one of my questions I was going to ask you. Is what has it been like dealing with COVID-19? At the water.
It's been the same for sure, but we just switched weeks. We couldn't be in the office together, so we would switch weeks. You know what I mean? So now it's kind of slowly moving back into normal. As you've seen, Mark was here earlier. We can work together again. So it's, you know what I mean? Alone is hard because you can't really think with another brain. But there's other, I don't know. It was kind of the same. It didn't really change other than week by week by week.
So for each week, one of you would be working in the plant, and then somebody else will come in the next week. Yeah,
and then doing the whole things, the checks every day, the sampling every day, sending into Near North Labs every Tuesday. Every Thursday, we're doing our in-house back teas. So one person would do it one week, another one would do the other, and then vice versa.
That actually sounds like really, for me anyway, sounds kind of hard because you have to be really independently motivated. You have to be very responsible.
And you have to trust each other. That's the thing. You have to trust each other. So say if something went wrong, they're there. I can call if I needed help. So say if Andy, he lives in AOK, and he gets a call at 12 at night, and he doesn't want to fly over here, he'll give me a call, and I'll just come running down the hill. You know what I mean?
Right.
Support each other like that.
Yeah. So what would you say are some of the personality traits that you'd have to do a job like this?
Not to give up, not to freak out under pressure, and pretty have confidence in what you're doing.
Yeah, so you have to kind of be more of a steady, calm kind of person.
Yeah. Don't let it beat you down too. You know what I mean? Things happen. Don't take it all on yourself either. It's a heavy duty job. I didn't think I was getting myself into, to be honest. I had no idea.
For sure. And then with everything that's happening in I know a little bit about Ontario and all the First Nations water drinking problems that we've been having. Did your community have that problem, the boil water advisories and everything like that before you guys had the water treatment plants?
No, because like I said, we kept our water clean at its source. So the people up way north, their water is so hard to filter and they have so much bacteria in it that they didn't protect it at its source. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's they have algae growth, they have people dumping everything in there and all that kind of, so it gets harder and harder and harder to filter.
Right. And not by their own fault a lot of times too, right? There was
Exactly. It's not their fault. Absolutely. Yeah. It could just be natural causes. It could be other big boats coming through. You never know. Mining, it's anything. It's
right.
Well, but it's just now you have to figure out what kind of plant you need to filter all that out.
What's your whole take on the whole situation with the First Nations boil water advisories happening in Ontario right now?
My whole take on it, to be honest, it sucks because it's our people, you know, and we know water as a spirit, right? And for them, it's probably hard on them, but you need money though. You need that help from the government to get the plant that you need. And then not only that, you need the workers that actually want to do it, that want to work it, that want to take pride in it, you know, that want to do it instead of putting something on disabled or whatever. You know, you need those workers that actually want to do it.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we're trying to, I guess, like kind of promote, is for people who are First Nations who are in those communities to like study a career and to pursue a career in like water and wastewater and other important technical fields that they need to have, because like that's kind of going to help them in the future.
Yeah, nobody's really going for them anymore. They're going for lawyers and doctors and nurses. They're getting old. All the operators. So they need us. They need us here now. You know what I mean? And there's not many people that are taking the trades and taking the environmental way.
So what would you say to other youth, or like what do you say to your friends, like, hey guys, like you should take this program or study this career because we need more people in this field?
I just tell them really, like, it's a great field to get into for sure. The way I talk about it and kind of boast about my plant and my community.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be interested in it too, though. You got to love your job. You know, you're not working a day in your life if you love your job. That's right there. So
yeah, for sure. Did you have anybody like growing up like that you saw like as a role model in this field, or?
No, I kind of just, all my jobs lately when I was a teenager I was working maintenance. I was always outside. And then I was working the fisheries and it had to do with water. Then I was working with source water and it had to do with water. Then this water first came up and had to do, I was like, okay, my calling is water. There's water here. So that's what I knew. That's why I stuck it through. It was hard. The 16 months, it was so hard to do, but I did it. So just stick it through, really. Once you're done, it's, now look at me. You know, like, it's well worth it. Well worth it.
That's for sure. For sure, yeah. And I guess I want to talk a little bit more too about like how you mentioned like water is a spirit, and our traditional teachings, like I'm a Haudenosaunee person, and we have like a lot of the same like beliefs and teachings and everything. So it's like, what do you take from that into your job like every day, or do you take anything?
Like, how do I like think about it and everything?
Yeah, or like how did that, growing up with that knowledge, like pushed you into like persevering? Because it sounds like, you know,
my mom was really traditional. My mom still is traditional. So I went with her all places, and I did the water ceremonies with her, and she taught me about the spirits, and she taught me about everything has a life. It makes sense. So I just understood since a little girl. So I just never took anything for granted, as in for the water. Even my son, I tell my son the same thing. You're lucky we have this water, so don't you know, like, don't abuse it, really, because there's kids out there that don't have what you got right now.
For sure. And I think there's a lot going on just in the entire like world where people are taking things for granted.
There's a lot of people that can't turn their taps on and drink out of it.
Right. And when you live in a situation where you've always had that and you've just always grown up with that,
you're so used to it, it's nothing.
Yeah, you don't think anything of it.
Once you lose it, we're gonna freak right out. So
yeah. Do you, like, in terms of like the environmental concerns like happening right now on our planet, do you like worry about anything happening in the future? Like, do you have any sort of like, I guess, inside knowledge about the condition of the water and what's changing over time?
Here, I haven't really noticed like around the world, really. Like, I look here at home, though, our water is getting higher.
The water levels are getting higher?
Yeah, the water level. When I was younger, maybe about 10 years ago, the water was really low, like just dried out. Now all of my shoals are gone from fishing. So I notice when I go fishing, because the water is getting so high now, you know, like the jumping cliffs, like, are easy to jump off of because they're not so high. The water is so high now.
Right.
Like, I guarantee you in the next 10 years, again, it's going to go right back to being low and it's going back to be high again.
Yeah. Like, it's just,
I notice it's a pattern.
It's changing. Like,
yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Wow. That's something that, like, personally, like, I'm, you know, it's a concern of mine what the condition of the world and like the water and everything that we take for granted is going to be like in the future. But I feel like there are people out there like you who are doing things to kind of like make sure that people understand that we need to take care of it.
Yeah, don't even going out fishing and stuff and people are smoking. I'm like, put your cigarette butts in your pocket. Like, you know what I mean? I'm filtering this water later. Like, just little things like that.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So
like they're just tossing their cigarette butts.
Yeah, like, and then like just butt it out, put a tobacco in it, and put the filter in your pocket. Any little thing,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, because I'm filtering it out later, and then I have to figure out how to, you know.
Right. Oh wow. So anything else that you like want to say to other First Nations youth out there who maybe they don't know what they want to do, and seeing somebody like you who like, you know, is the same background as them, like doing this job, like might be hugely inspirational. Like, do you consider yourself a role model?
No, not really. No, until I see all these pictures of me on Facebook and people and this and that. Like, I'm just their average res chick.
Yeah.
Love me roaming around. No, but seriously, I didn't think so at all until I see. So I'm going to conferences and I'm going. People are recognizing me, and people are. I don't see it because I'm just so, I don't know. I just do my thing every day, right? I don't focus on what other people think of me, if that makes sense.
Or yeah, like focus on like your achievements. You kind of just
Yeah, because I don't know. It's hard to explain because I just did it. I risked it to get here and I made it, and I want them to do the same.
So like your message to youth, like what would you say to them, like to encourage them to not choose like just this career? Sorry, go ahead.
Take that first step. That's the first step is the scariest. Once you take that first step, everything flows.
Yeah, definitely.
So take that one step, you're good.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, for sure. Like I feel like the hardest part is starting.
Right? Because they think too hard. They think, oh, I can't do it. Oh, I can't do chemistry. Oh, I can't take that first step, man.
Even doing a video like this is super scary. And
right? That's what I was earlier. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I'm doing live.
Yeah.
No, I'm like,
yeah, it's always like taking that first jump or that first kind of like leap of faith or whatever you want to call it, right? Like that's the hardest part. But then once you start, it flows. Like you're floating down a river.
That's it. And then it just happens and happens and happens. And all of a sudden you're at the end and you're like, wow, like right on, I did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like now you've had this job, you've been there, you said, for 4 years.
Yeah.
Is there something more that you want to achieve? Like, do you have any other career goals?
I just want to make my levels up, my level 1, 2, 3, 4.
So that's your training? Like you got to continue?
Yeah. Continue getting higher and higher and higher. Level 4 is the highest.
It sounds like this is something that your job is something that you have to do continuous training.
Yeah.
What is it about that makes it have to change? Like in my mind, I wouldn't really see like much changing in the water treatment plant.
So we have every year you have to have 36 hours of CEUs, which is continuing education units, and then I think 30 OJT, which is on the job training, just to get your tickets higher. Because water, it's always changing. The rules, because we're following with the government, the federal guidelines, federal provincial guidelines. So it's always changing. There's so many regulations. There's so many safe drinking water regulations. Like there's just all kinds. Like, so you got to keep, you just got to keep retraining. Sometimes you can forget, no doubt, because there's so much to remember.
Okay. So that's probably another really important thing, right? Is like, you get used to doing your job every day, and one day you might like forget something and let something slip, and then it kind of like
exactly. Yeah, but that's why you keep doing your continuing education unit. Writers come into the plant and show you how to use a jet pump again, and how to take it apart, and what happens if it breaks down. What do you do? Like just refreshers like that.
Is that because this job is something that's like so important for people to like have like healthy lives, like because you're basically like people are depending on you guys for clean drinking water, so like obviously you guys have to be like super knowledgeable of what you're doing at all times, and you have to have that constant reminder,
right? And then the chlorine levels, you got to make sure that's good. That's the disinfectant. Like if there's no disinfectant in your water, You don't know what's in there. Could be Giardia's in there, your Cryptosporidius, like all kinds of different bacteria that a lot of people don't know about, that are so little that are hiding, that you got to know what's in the water. That's why we sample out in the distribution, to make sure there's chlorine out there for them too, right?
Is that something, so I guess chlorine must be safe to drink at a certain level then?
Oh yeah. At a certain level, of course. You can't taste, like, people will say bleachy.
Yeah.
You don't taste that at all. If we're doing it properly, then you won't.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And like, yeah, I was just thinking like similar to like, I guess like doctors and emergency planner people.
Yeah, see, I couldn't do brain surgery like they can.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that job would stress me out so much. Even
I
just
know, right?
talking to you and hearing everything you're doing, I'm like, that's so much responsibility. Like, I feel like I'd be crushed under the weight of it.
See, that's why it was in the beginning, but that's what I mean. Like, you just gotta take that step. You just gotta take it. That's all.
Yeah. So like, I want to say thank you to you for like, honestly, having the strength and the courage and the determination to be out there.
Well, thanks.
For real. Like,
yeah, that means a lot.
You're killing it. And like, I feel like everyone in your community is probably so proud of you, but we're also really proud of you at OFNTSC as one of our role models for getting out there and being out there and stuff. So, and I guess one other thing I wanted to ask you was, so I think that one of our people recommended you to us. Do you work with OFNTSC, like our organization for stuff?
Yeah. We used you guys as circuit riders. Well, we did. You guys still have them.
Okay, yeah, we do.
I go to you guys' conferences, all that, the golfing thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay, great. All right. Well, that probably won't be happening this year.
Oh yeah. Well, last year was
Sadly.
awesome.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good. And then Dean is our moderator. I just want to check in with him to see if there's any questions coming from our Facebook Live. Dean, is there anything out there? Any questions?
We got one from Wahatsa Tim Johnson. How do we educate people about how important it is to protect water at its source? And what do you think about the United States lifting water protections for the Great Lakes, which can affect Canada?
Well, that's a heavy-duty question, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You just gotta how do you make people aware of it? It's kind of hard to make them aware of it. You kind of gotta show it. You gotta, like, almost like that one, did you guys ever see that one video, how you talk to water or whatever? Stuff like that, like little things like that you gotta show. You gotta realize that not a lot of people realize it comes from the source. So to drill that into their brains is harder than, like, even around here sometimes too. Like, that's a really big question that I can't even, I don't even know where to start. And then lifting it wherever in the US is coming downstream here, and there's gonna be, I don't think it's a good idea, obviously, but what can you do, right? Like, it's just to make people aware is the hardest part. Once they do, though, then everything, I don't know. It's just a tough question, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think what you said is really important about showing people, because I think maybe something that just as a society that maybe we've been getting wrong is that we're trying to tell people and educate them. And when I feel like you're telling somebody something, you're talking at them and not with them.
Right.
And I feel like,
one out the other.
Exactly. If we could like, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, here in Birch Island, we actually have a source water protection plan. So we have like the 25-year plan for it.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? Like, plan for what's gonna happen. Have your backups. Have your, you know what I mean? Like, go to your water and literally like clean up around it. You'll see the difference. Clean. You know, have a group. We used to have a group of people and have gift cards and come out and help us clean the lake. Like, we have little incentives for them too. Like, they get something out of it.
And I think, everything, especially with what we've been seeing with COVID-19 and having less ships and less things out there. Like, I think I saw a video, there was a whale in the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah, Montreal?
Yeah.
I see that too. I was like, no way, really?
And I was like, I think that this goes back to your point where you said, like, we need to start showing people instead of telling them, because like, this is a clear sign. Like, if you stop to pollute the river, the wildlife, everything's going to come back.
Yeah.
The earth wants to heal itself, I think, and
this is what happened.
Have to get out of the way. So,
and this is how Mother Earth did it.
Yeah.
She shut us down.
On that note, I think I want to
goosebumps.
Thank you again, Amy,
Yes.
for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time. And obviously, you're still there in the plant right now, and you're probably got a lot of things to do. So thank you for taking the time. And just to everyone who's been watching, thank you for joining us. This video will be available on our Facebook page after we finish the live stream, so you can share it any time you want with any First Nations youth or anybody who you think could benefit from hearing this message. And yeah, thank you again so much, Amy. Thanks, Dean, for being our tech guy in the background. And yeah, we'll see everyone in our next video.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
How do you shut this off?